Rusty's just here helping out making some math videos on a Saturday. Alright, so next question up is wants us to plot the graph of each of the linear relationships, but first it wants us to complete a table for x values from -3 to 3. Okay, so let's unpack the question. So first of all, it wants us to make a table of values. So that's our first step. So let's go ahead and work on that. So it's given us what it wants our x values to be, because remember that's the independent variable. So our x is going to be equal to -1, -2, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it gives us that in the question. So remember, that's our independent variable. So then our dependent variable is y. Okay, so we need to solve for y because that's our dependent variable given these equations. Okay, so if we take a, so y is going to be equal to x plus 2. So what we do is we take our x value, and let's start up at 3 because, of course, we generally feel more comfortable and confident working with positive integers. So we've got 3. So all we do, like we did before, is we take y is equal to our x value, 3 plus 2. And we just work through and solve. So 3 plus 2, of course, is equal to 5. So where x is equal to 3, our y is equal to 5. And we just put a 5 in there. Okay, and then we move down. Okay, so again, it's the same equation. Y is going to be equal to our x value plus 2. So our x value now is 2. So y is going to be equal to our x value, which is 2. So 2 plus 2, because that's our equation. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So where x equals 2, y is equal to 4. All right, let's move down to the next one. Okay, let's see if we can start to see a pattern emerging in this table of values. All right, because algebra is all about patterns, relationships, and how numbers work together. Okay, that's what it's all about. So again, we're moving down. Our x is now going to be equal to 1. So again, this same equation, and we just plug in y is equal to 1. So we took this 1 value from our table, substituted in where our x is, and we're just adding 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So 3. Now, I can see a pattern emerging where for every decrease in my x, there's a decrease in my y here. So I'm going to keep going through and solving it because I just want to make sure that there's no change. So I'm going to say my x is now equal to 0 plus 2 is 2. So you go so on and so forth and just keep doing that. And then again, like we did in the previous videos, you simply just go and plot these points onto your Cartesian plane. So your Cartesian plane is your x and y axis. So you go and plot them, connect them with that line, and see if it's linear. All right, I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to bother with drawing them because we've spent the last 2 videos drawing them up. I'm going to go ahead and solve a few more of these, just so you guys can get your head around completing these tables of values. So remember, this is just solving linear equations, okay? Don't get stressed by some of this language. Just step by step it out and think about what they're asking. Okay, so my x, again, I know that it's going to be this -3 up to 3 because that's what it's given in the question, okay? And then my y. I don't know any of my y values yet. I've got to use linear equations to solve for them. Okay, so let's go on to, I'm going to go down and I'm going to go to this e. Okay, so the equation is given as y equals a negative x, take 3. All right, so I've got a negative x here. So I'm going to start again at my 3, just because I think we all feel a little bit more confident and comfortable with our positive integers, but we do have to get used to working with these negatives, and they're not as complicated as we think. It's just that we've done a lot more work with our positives, and we just feel comfortable there. Okay, so let's plug it in. So it's negative x minus 3. So all we do is it's a negative, and we put our x in there, which is our 3, minus 3. So we've got negative 3, take 3. So negative 3, take 3. Take a moment, have a think about what you're actually doing on your number line. Okay, so if you've got, I'm going to draw it up because we do seem to get confused with our negative numbers. So we're 0's here, and we're at negative 3. And we're going to take another 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So we'll be at negative 6. Negative 6, not negative 3. Negative 6. Okay, so I'm going to put a negative 6 in there. All right, I want to go and I want to work with this negative 3 up at this end. Because I think it's important that we don't just give up on stuff that is difficult. We've got to persist and we've got to work with it and get used to it. Okay, so y is equal to negative x take 3. So again, just follow that same thing we did before. I'm going to put my negative there, and in my bracket, I'm just going to drop in my negative 3. Take 3. Now, when we've got this negative and negative, so we've got a negative, negative 3. So imagine that this is a 1 here. Just imagine, just pretend with me. Okay, so if you had a negative 1 and you were multiplying it by a negative 3, so a negative multiplied by a negative would make a positive. Okay, so a negative multiplied by a negative will make a positive. So all we do in this instance is it actually works to sort of cancel those out, if you will, and we simply just get a 3. It's as easy as that. Okay, so just always write out your steps. Don't try to skip over it and get to the end. Step it through and think about what you're actually doing. So we end up with a 3 minus 3. So of course 3 minus 3 is actually equal to 0. So where x is equal to negative 3, y is equal to 0. Okay, simple as that. All right, let's do negative 2 now. Okay, again, working on this same process, I'm writing everything out, all my steps. So I'm going to get my y value by having a negative 2, just dropping that in there, keeping my negative, minus 3. Okay, so y is equal to, again, this negative and negative almost cancel each other out. And I have 2 minus 3. So 2 take 3. So again, if I'm at my 2 on my number line and I'm taking away 3, I come to negative 1. All right, one more negative. We've got this negative 1 here. Let's work with that. Alrighty. So y is equal to negative 1, take 3. Remember, negative and negative. So y is equal to 1, take 3. So 1 take 3 is negative 2. So again, seeing this change and this pattern here. So every change in my x where I'm going up 1, I'm going down 1 in my y. So for every plus 1 here, I've got a change with of a -1 in my y. Okay? Awesome. All right, let's move on to the next step. We're actually looking at this equation of the line and how we can easily work out the gradient of a line.